special episode, episode 82 right here. And we have a very special guest on. Again, sorry if I'm gonna, pronounce your name or surname in the wrong way, but he kind of gave me a few, few advices on how to pronounce it. But it's Huy Nguyen.
Yeah.
That's what we came about. But you can find his full name and his contact details, social media, everything. All the links are going to be included down below for you to follow. But just a little bit about him. Rich Dad book, the pink book. That's he said he gave him this powerful message, and started his journey into the college kind of computer science major background while working in the IT for an oil and gas company in Houston. So he started real estate part-time for 5 years with a small boutique brokerage. And at the age of 22, he bought his first house and started investing in rental properties. And now he's at the top producing realtor based in Houston. So again, I think it's going to be a lot of fun talking with you today. And I appreciate you joining me.
Yeah. Well, thank you for reaching out. How do I pronounce your name correctly?
Oh, you don't have to worry about my name. My name, it doesn't matter. Today is all about you and about winning together.
All right, that's it.
That's awesome.
A good way to put it.
That's awesome. So listen, first question first is, Rich Dad Poor Dad book. Who put you that in your pocket, backpack? I mean, how did you came across the book in the first place?
Man, to be honest, I like growing up, I kind of go to college and go to work. I don't know who put that idea in me, but I always feel that hey, if you keep working for the man, you cannot really make it, and if the way I see it, I look at my boss, right, and then I look at my boss, I look at the people around me. And, I asked myself this question, like, hey, do I want to be like them? If I'm keep doing what I'm doing, this is back then when I'm working a job. If I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm going to be like them, in 5 years, 10 years. Is there another way? Okay. So I keep asking myself a question. And then I just keep looking around and, I wander around Barnes & Noble, which is like a bookstore here. I wander around Border, just looking for something to refresh my mind. It just happened that Rich Dad Poor Dad is, it's like a super popular book in America, and I believe it's around the world. So I picked it up when I was 18 years old. I read it, I like it, but I don't really do anything with it, until, I kind of graduate college, and then when I actually work, and then that book just really kicked in, like, hey, you work for the money, or you want to work for knowledge, or what do you want to do? So that book really kicked in when I start to go to work. And that's when, the investing, the exploring about real estate, and that's how things started.
Got it. So the pink book got your journey started. There's a lot of real estate.
Kind of opened my mind.
Yeah, and a lot of real estate investors that I do have on the show, and you guys who are watching these episodes know that majority of the people are telling that this book kind of was the entry point into this, real estate world. So that is awesome that the Robert Kiyosaki, touched you with his knowledge and experience, and it got you going to that direction. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's just a mindset.
Yeah, definitely. So talking about the computer science major, I mean, you're majored in that. So can you talk about your experience while working in IT for this oil and gas company in Houston? How did that work for you? And I mean, have you planned to continue that journey in the IT sector, which apparently you didn't? I mean, you ended up working as a top realtor now in Houston.
Yeah.
But what was that like to work in that stage?
So, I have nothing to complain about my job, so after I graduated college, I actually worked for a school for actually the school that I studied for a little bit, doing IT support over there. And eventually I moved to Hewlett Packard. I don't know if you heard of a company called HP, Hewlett Packard.
Of course.
Yeah. I worked for Hewlett Packard for a while, and eventually, end up with an oil and gas company here in Houston, Texas, Schlumberger. Yeah. So I worked for Schlumberger. But yeah, totally love my job, but like I told you, while I work there, I use my, income, to acquire rental property, right? So that is good. My job is able to provide me that. But like I told you in the beginning, I keep asking myself, hey, if I work here 5 years, I'm going to be like my boss. you know, and I keep working 10 years, I'm gonna become like my boss. And I look at my boss and look at my boss, and I ask myself, you know, like, hey, do you want to be like your boss 5 years later? And the answer is no. Okay. It's like, you know, like, I love you, you know, boss, you know, you're wonderful, you're doing good, but am I want to be like you 5 years later? I don't think so. Okay. So I have to do something different. So eventually, you know, you cannot keep your feet on two boats, right? Eventually you have to make a leap of faith. You either commit 100% to your IT job, you know, move up the corporate ladder, or you make a leap of faith, you know, you jump into the unknown and you do real estate full time. Yeah. So it was a really scary move for me, but I made that jump. I jumped into the unknown. First year was horrible. I can tell you that. You know, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. You know, I just want to go back to my job. But hey, I did not do that. You know, I just keep going forward, and you know, yeah, it was the best decision I ever made in my career.
I think so. I mean, it looks like it worked out for you. Now you're one of the top producing realtors in Houston. So it sounds like it worked out, you know? So, please.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So you know, but that's what it took for you to figure things out. And like, what was your position back in a Hewlett Packard? Like what you used to do back in the place?
Just IT support.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a typical IT guy, and I keep telling people, if an IT guy, you know, I'm not, you notice, but I'm super introvert. Okay, I'm not a guy.
I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that right now.
Yeah, because we're on one-on-one, right? And because, you know, I'm in a room here by myself, you know, but I'm not, trust me, I'm not the guy that's gonna hold a beer around the bar and go say hi to people. Okay, I'm not extrovert, and I keep telling people.
Yeah, but look, at the moment you're becoming one, right? Because to become a broker at this high level, you have to be an extrovert, right? To some degree.
So you don't have to, to some degree. So this is what I tell people, you know, don't let, you know, the fact that you become an introvert or an extrovert prevent you from what you are doing. Okay, you know why actors get paid so well? You know, because they know how to, because after they know how to step out of themselves, you know, and get into a role and do a good job at performing that role. So think of it like that. You know, I'm an introvert, you know, yes, you know, I don't like to, you know, like the fact of me surrounding myself with people, you know, kind of ran my energy. But when I need to do that, you know, I'm gonna do that. There's no excuse.
Well, I would like to argue with that, argue with you on that topic for a little bit. Because I don't think that you're you know, an introvert for one reason. Because when you're talking about, you know, putting yourself in a room with the people with a beer, and again, whatever you're picturing in your mind, and if it makes you feel uncomfortable, again, it's just for one reason. And you probably, you know, like a short story, if let's say you have a guy who is an IT professional, just like you've been right before, and you put that guy in the same position where he's at the bar and all these people, like he doesn't know these people, and it's like very weird, you know, like
that's me.
He feels shy, right? Like I'm an introvert in that position. But put the same person in a room with other IT specialists, and how he's going to feel. Oh, he's going to be an extrovert. He's going to be talking with people. Because that's his passion.
Exactly.
So it's not like, look, so my argument on this, that you're not an introvert, is what everybody is facing. Like if I'm gonna, because people look at me and thinking, oh, he's just talking with all these people. Like I can be an, you know, introvert in a second if I'm gonna be placed in a room with people that I don't know, and maybe they're, you know, like bigger than me, you know, financially, physically, I don't know. I might be like, oh, I don't know these people. So I'm going to become an introvert at that moment.
Yeah.
So that's perfectly fine. I don't think, and that's my, you know, that's my thoughts on that.
But, yeah, that is a good argument. I'm going to counter back to that later, but let's move on.
Thank you. That's awesome. So talking about real estate part-time for 5 years in a small boutique brokerage. So was it back in Houston? Can you talk about that experience? How did it work for you in that time?
Yeah, it actually worked out perfectly for me. So back then when I started, so I would say, you know, one of my lucky charm is that, you know, my mom actually introduced me to, you know, her friend. You know, he's a very successful broker and investor in Houston. So long story short, you know, I used him to buy my first house in Houston. And then ever since then, you know, I just keep shadowing him, you know, So, and his name is Patrick. And I was like, hey, Patrick, can you show me to do this? Patrick, can you show me to do that? And if you hang out with some people enough, you're going to become like them. And Patrick is just, my mentor back then. He's just all about, real estate and investment. So I kind of just follow his footsteps. I call him out, like, hey, Patrick, I got this 30 houses I want to see over the weekend. And Patrick is like, okay, why don't you go get your license, and then, and then I can help you with it. Yeah. So so he helped me a lot. And eventually, I get my license, I follow his footsteps. I work for him for a while, learn a lot from him, and it's kind of go from there. Yeah. And it's so flexible, I can keep my job. I can still focus on my job, doing this part-time. Eventually, first of all, just buy a house for myself, eventually for family, for friends, and it's kind of grow my business organically from there.
Yeah. So shout out to Patrick for hooking up and giving you all these lessons, which is awesome.
Exactly.
Having a mentor in life is such an important piece, and somebody who can coach you and guide you along the way through the paths that they've been through themselves. So that is awesome. So again, age 22, bought your first house. So maybe you can talk about the house. And first of all, I want to ask you, have you always been in Houston and Texas area, or you came from somewhere else, some other state?
Yeah, pretty much, ever since, I moved here to the United States, in high school. I was a sophomore in high school, and then I just happened to be here ever since. I didn't move anywhere else. Yeah, my aunt is here, my family is here, so, so I'm just here.
Awesome. I heard Texas is a beautiful place. I mean, Houston is a great place. So I don't think, it's not like California when you have to have those decisions like, oh, should we move? Yes, we should,
Yeah, so Texas, what I can tell you that, it's very business friendly. And if you put in investment perspective, it's very landlord friendly. Okay. Yeah. So the state, it promote business, it help business owner. The law over here favor business and small business owner. It favor the landlord. If you want to start a business somewhere else, like in the United States, Texas is one of the best way to start.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Got it.
The law is backing you up. You got a bunch of business friendly people here to help you with it.
Yeah. Awesome. That's good. So talking about, again, the 22, you bought your first house. So why did you make to buy a house at that age? Because there might be some people who are 22 or maybe about that age who may be thinking about buying their first house. So why did you decide to buy the house? And can you talk about the house, like how, the square feet, like how big is it? The price, everything.
Okay. Well, so this is back then, right? We have the financial crisis on 2000, 2008, 2009. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when I get out of college, okay, that was about 2010, 2011. And houses back then is so cheap. So, you asking about a house I bought when I was 22 years old, it was $80,000. Okay. So, $80,000, and I'm going to let you do the translation, but you get $80,000. You're going to buy a house with a big piece of land, 1,200 square feet. I don't know how you translate it to square per meter. But,
I'm going to do that right now, but keep continue, please.
Yeah.
How many is you said 12,000?
12,000 square feet.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a small house, 3 bedroom, 2 bath.
Yeah. Okay. So what like location wise, what decision made you to buy this particular house? I mean, how many properties have you looked at before? I mean, can you tell that story?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I just bought it because, I came from Vietnam, right? And, real estate in Vietnam, like in the big city, it's so expensive. So, I go back to Vietnam for a trip. I see how expensive house over there. And then I go back here. And here I am, in one of the biggest metropolitan in the United States. Houston is a fourth largest city in the US. And here, houses is, for sale, back then nobody buy it, for $80,000 a house, beautiful house, $80,000. And I thought to myself, again, come back to the rich dad philosophy. It would be dumb, not to buy it. So anyway, long story short, I have my saving. I have been, always like saving up, live below my mean. I have $20,000. I put it as a down payment, and and then Patrick again, is helping me, show me the rope. And long story short, we bought a house and I moved in.
Got it. So what's, and again, when it comes back to the square feet, so it's 1,115 square meters. So which by the, for the European audience is like, it sounds like a castle probably. It's very big. So, but
Yeah,
again,
exactly.
maybe it's just the American standards that we're talking
And
about.
that is a smallest, one of the smallest, three
Wow.
bedroom, two bath house you can find. So fast forward, now it's 2020, right? I still keep the property, and the value of the property is more than double already.
Okay, so appreciated over time that fast. Okay.
Yeah, it's appreciated over 100%.
Got it. So what is the strategy for you for you to keep, because do you live in a property or do you rent it out right now?
For now, I rent it out, but back then I live in there. Yeah,
Oh,
but then I moved, I bought another house, and then I rented it out. The cash flow work, if you follow rich dad philosophy, we invest, appreciation is a bonus, okay? The market give it to you, the market can take it from you.
oh yeah.
I have no saying in that. But what I'm looking for is a cash flow. You have a mortgage, my job is to make sure that the rent, can pay for the mortgage, and make sure, I have a little bit of cushion, just to cover anything if it's happened, or, or you can spend it.
Got it. So what is the current strategy on the house in particular? What are you planning to do with it? Are you just going to keep it long term, or are you going to sell it at some point?
I'm not sure right now, because when you sell something, it's a taxable event. I have to pay tax.
Yeah.
So, there's a term in the United States that, you refinance, and then you die. Okay. So if you need, right now, if I need the equity, I can just refinance, get the capital out, deploy it somewhere else. I have the mortgage, but again, the rent also raised, a couple of years. So as long as the rent can cover the mortgage, I can keep cashing, refinance it out.
Got it. Got it. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I only sell my property, when it's in like, quote unquote, like, when I see the neighborhood going down, that's gonna affect the value of the house. But other than that, if my asset is in a good part of town and, the appreciation keep going up, I would never sell it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you plan to do? Let's say, in that case of scenario, let's say you're gonna, refinance, you're gonna take some equity out. Like, are you planning to buy some other properties right now, or in upcoming months or years? What is your strategy?
So fast forward, right? That's the first house, so, from that point, when I bought my first house until now, we keep acquiring property, maybe like 2-3 times a year. Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, for now, because the price went up so much, I kind of slow down on my acquisition on the rental. For now, I do more like an Airbnb and flipping, but my goal is that, you do 4 flip, you get 1 rental. You do 4 flip, you get 1 rental.
Okay, so that's the strategy. Yeah, so you still want to keep something in your portfolio, kind of grow it over time.
Oh yeah.
But is it going to be all the residential properties that you're looking to acquire in the future, or are you going to move to commercial maybe at some point?
I'm not sure yet. I always have interest in commercial, but I don't have, the Patrick, if you mean, I find my Patrick that, kind of lead me into commercial yet.
There's a lot of Patricks in commercial space. You just have to
Yeah.
Google them or find them on Instagram, by hashtagging, multifamily Patrick or something.
Yeah, but mentorship for me, it's both way, right? I have to be able to add value to my mentor as well, and the two have to click.
Yeah.
So it's a natural process for me. I keep my option open. Yeah, but I'm not like rushing to go into it.
Yeah. Because Houston is a solid market. I mean, you might get these moments where it gets overbuilt. It might take some time to absorb these, current deals, because Houston is as far as I heard, is like boom and bust town. They like, it's either like they build so much, then it busts. Like all the construction companies, they just see all these half of projects not finished, and that's happening. So, but like talking with it, because I know like you have the current insight into the market. So what do you see happening in Houston in a coming, a year or 2 or 5 in advance?
Okay. Well, if anybody told you they know what's going on, they just bullshitting you, right? Nobody know what's going on in even next year. Okay. but what I can tell you is that Houston, we have a very diverse job market. real estate is only as good as the job market. Okay, if people don't have job here, you know, real estate eventually, you know, it's gonna get an effect. So what I can see from my, you know, personal opinion, don't quote me on this, you know, Houston, you know, we have a super diverse, super strong economy. You know, there's so many jobs here, you know, and like I say again, Texas is so business friendly. So if you look at the net migration, you know, people are still moving into Houston, people are still moving to Texas, and that's a good enough sign for me to keep investing in Houston, to keep investing in Texas already. Yeah, so I just look at it as simple as that.
Got it. Yeah, because it looks like you're a very simple man and looking at things in a very simple, kind of politically correct way, you know. And I like your approach. It seems like you're a very, you know, simple man to do business with. So again, any of your Patrick's in multifamily space, I do recommend to reach out this man in here. But yeah, all fun aside, like we're talking about Houston and, you know, becoming a top realtor in Houston also. I mean, how did that happen, and how long did it took for you to take that position?
How did it happen? So how do I say this thing? Well, like I told you, you know, the first year is really tough, right? First year, you know, I don't know what I am doing. You know, I was chasing buyer and seller left and right. You know, but just like anything, you know, my principle is that, you know, if you are the average of the 5 people that you hang out with, okay, so in my first year, you know, the reason that I am not doing good is that because I don't hang out enough with top producing realtor. Yeah, so I just make that one of my goal. Like, hey, you know, who is in Houston is killing it. You know, who can I learn from? So I make it a habit. You know, I make it, you know, very intention to go hang out with, you know, my mentor in the brokerage. You know, and I just make it a purpose to spend more time with them. You know, learn from them. I would go to their office, you know, even though, you know, I don't have any business there. I just go in their office, you know, hang out in the lobby, and eventually, you know, I pick up something for them. They help me here and there. And I would say it's just, you know, just hang out with more producing realtor. And yeah.
That's very interesting. So for the people who are watching and thinking like, I want to get that draft, you know, it's called like drafting, you know, when somebody's in front of you is running fast and you go behind them, and it's like, it takes less power. So drafting. So how somebody can do that when they're looking to get involved, let's say into real estate business, and they want to be close to those great people, like what is the process, as you say, you know, staying close to those people and just expanding your network?
So I would say, you know, add value, you know, try to add value to the people that you need to connect with, you know. So for me, you know, I didn't go to their name is Jeff and Amanda, you know, so I didn't go to Jeff and Amanda, you know, and I would, you know, like bother them, you know. I try to find a way to add value to the business, you know, to find a way to genuinely connect with them. So for the new people that want to start in real estate, I would say that is the best way to build your relationship. You know, busy people, successful people, they're busy, right? You know, they have the capital, you know, they have the knowledge, but I might not have time. So you can just find a way, you know, to deliver value to the people that you want to connect to, and, you know, really spend the time to invest into a relationship, and especially ask for nothing back. Okay, in the beginning, I didn't ask for anything back. So, but you're gonna see the reward. You know, it's gonna slowly, you know, rolling in.
That's a great advice. Thank you for sharing that. You know, it's very valuable. So where do you see your personal career? I mean, being a top realtor currently in Houston, where do you see your career going this year and next year? Do you have your own personal goals for your own kind of your realtor career? Like what's going to happen in the next few years for yourself?
Yeah. So I guess you can kind of notice, you know, I wear so many hats. You know, I'm a realtor.
Yeah.
You know, I help my wife on the flipping side. You know, we just getting, you know, really focused on the Airbnb business in here, on the Airbnb stuff here in Houston. But yeah, just a lot of other stuff. So I would say, you know, in the next couple of years, you know, of course, you know, I still want to produce as much as I can, but, you know, perhaps one of my most important objective is to help other agents in the company, you know, to outgrow me. So I don't want to preach about EXP so much here, you know, but EXP, the brokerage that I hang my license with, this is the only brokerage, you know, that allow me to get paid, by helping other agent in my group. So that's one of the objective in my near term goal. Yeah, I want to make every agent under my team more successful than me.
Got it. Okay, so like that's something new to me. So maybe you can explain to the people, what do you mean, like you generating income by helping others on your team to succeed at the same time? So can you just explain the module and the way EXP works with that module?
Okay, I won't go into the detail in here,
Sure,
but
yeah.
like I told you, you get compensated by making other people more successful than you. So let's say, if you and me work together, right, and we're in the same team, somehow that, I actually get paid, by helping me, by helping you outgrow me. Yeah. So yeah, we can set up another episode,
That's a completely different topic for another episode, I guess. Yeah.
But I just love that idea that, like other than buyer and seller, I can actually, helping agent, become more successful.
Got it. So again, from a realtor standpoint, question for you, for the people who are looking to purchase a property in Houston, again, what will be your kind of do's and don'ts when looking for a brand new property to buy for themselves, kind of residential property?
Okay. Well, that is really broad question to answer. It's really depend on you, right?
What you have seen in your personal experience, like people are like, like some areas that people shouldn't buy, or, some, I don't know, like property damages that might occur in the future, so just some, things that you've seen in your experience so far.
Okay. Yeah. So again, it depends on your personal taste. If you're looking for school, if you have kids, and then of course, school zone is important. Good school district is important to you. You should prioritize that. For people like me, I would say, I kind of like to push the border. Right now I don't have any kid yet. So, like the property I would buy for me personally, for example, we get under contract for a house, just last week for only $100,000. Okay. Unheard of, $100,000, but, it's sit right on the border between expensive house and the ghetto.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. So, I kind of push the border a little bit. If I'm right, that property is gonna appreciate like crazy. But if I'm wrong, it's gonna become, just one of the property in the ghetto.
Yeah. Wow.
So it depends on you and your risk tolerance. I'm more like investor oriented. So to be honest with you, I don't focus entirely on like first time home buyer and seller. Almost all of my client is investor. They are flipper, they are landlording. We make money when we buy, we make money when we sell. So if you ask me, like what school district or, what area is good for the kid, I might have no idea. But you ask me where to buy and make money in Houston, that's my expertise.
Yeah. And I love the fact that you said, you're buying this property with just kind of half and half, and you don't know which way it's going to turn. So, advice for people, like, don't go in a ghetto, so don't go where you hear the gunshots. But at the same time, there might be the entire Texas, because they love the guns, right? So who knows?
Yeah. So those are your risk tolerance. And, like if you work with a local realtor that really understand the market, real estate, is very localized. Like even in the neighborhood, there's good street and there's bad street. If like the detail, if you can just, really refine your buying criteria, you can get into some good deal. So one of my favorite, is the BRRRR, method. Have you heard of the BRRRR method?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, you buy it, you rehab it, you refinance it, you rent it out, and then you repeat, so for example, can I tell you about a house that I actually stay in right now?
Oh, please. Sure. Yeah.
So I bought this house for $100,000, right? It's kind of in, like the half and half, either really nice or really bad. So I bought it for $100,000. I put $100,000 into repairing it. So I put $200,000 into the house, right? Yeah. Long story short, we went to the bank, we asking for the refinance. The house appraised for $272,000. Yeah. So I was able to get my $200,000 out. I have no money in the deal. The house become infinite return. I make my first floor right now. I use it for my office, and then on the second floor, I Airbnb it out, and only one room is enough to cover mortgage for the entire house.
Yeah, but that's a very big flip for somebody who's going to be looking to start out in this game. You know, like not everybody has 100K available just for the, you know, renovations.
Yeah. So this is, you know, that is a very, you know, objection that I get all the time from new real estate investor. You know, and I will tell you guys this, you know, it doesn't need to be your money. In fact, when I started, I have no money at all. Okay, I tell you, I put $100,000 in it, but how do you know if it's my money? It could be my mom money, it could be my sister money, it could be, you know, money from somebody you trust. So
Perfect. So the question for you, how do you raise that money? I mean, how do you go about and talk with people and tell them, hey, listen, it's a good investment? And how do you kind of convince and sell them on the deal?
yeah, so that is a long process, right? You don't just one day you go out and you raise money.
Yeah.
You know, this is to your reputation, you know, this is to your hard working.
Yeah.
You have to do, you know, like one or two small deals first, you know, just get your reputation out. And especially, I tell you in Houston, if you have a good deal, you have the money. There's no question that. With the way our U.S. government printing money right now, you know, capital just flooded the street. You know, I cannot tell you how much money is out there on the street. You know, don't pay attention to the media right now. There is so much money on the street right now that if you have a good deal, I guarantee you're gonna have a lender on it, or you're gonna have a partner on it.
It makes sense because again, coming back to the currency, because they're printing so much and people see it as a thing, you know, by like going down in value so fast. And now they're talking about, you know, digitalizing currencies, and, you know, so if that's going to happen, of course, people are going to flood the streets, and, you know, they're going to be looking to acquire, you know, assets. They're going to pay them,
Exactly.
you know, monthly fee, you know, monthly income. So that's good. Awesome. So so again, for the people who would like to get in contact with you, again, from Airbnb side, ask you a few questions, or maybe just to buy a property in Houston, what will be kind of main social platforms for those people to reach you out?
Just like how you reach me, you know, I have a handle on Instagram, Cashflow Agent. So you can just type in Cashflow Agent. You can look for me. I'm also active on Facebook. You know, I have a Facebook link that you can post to your audience.
Here you go. So again, that's a great handle. I don't know how did you get it, but you're an IT guy also, so no questions asked. But that's awesome. You know, I really appreciate the time today. You know, great insights, great knowledge again to the market. You know, again, what you accomplished so far in that time is pretty amazing. And again, at the same time, I know because we have just a limited time here available, that's why I would love for you guys who are watching this episode to reach out to him and just ask a few questions. And again, if you're looking to invest in Houston, which by the way, as you telling the story, it sounds like it's a beautiful, beautiful market to be in. So make sure to go and reach out to him. And again, don't forget to follow on these platforms. So again, guys, I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you watching this. Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I would just say one more thing, since I kind of understand, you know, where's your audience coming from right now. You know, I would say, you know, don't focus on the how to so much. You know, there's a saying that, you know, don't get the detail derail you. Okay. When I started investing in real estate, I don't know shit. Okay, trust me, I don't know anything. Okay, but you know, it just take one step at a time. You know, hey, I have a property in contract. You know, what's next? And then, you know, after the inspection, what next? What next? So you always focus on the next step. You know, and then when you get to the big step, you know, you're gonna see another step. So just don't get, you know, the idea of, you know, money and the idea of investing. You know, don't let it intimidating you. You know, I know that, you know, it looked like I try to simplify the whole process, but it's not, guys. This is just common sense. You know, if a coder, you know, if an introvert guy from IT doing computer science can do this, anybody can do this. You know, I'm no different than anybody.
Here you go. I still felt like I won this conversation about the introvert, you know, but whatever. We're gonna leave it there. So again, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with a friend. That's all I'm asking, because again, this is a great valuable information. So make sure to pass it along to a friend, and, you know, don't forget to check out his Instagram channel also. So again, guys, I appreciate you watching this episode. Thank you for your time. I appreciate that very much also. And guys, as always, I'm gonna see you on the next episode. Thanks for watching.
Wow, thanks for checking in. Thank you.